Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us. I am Dr. Lizz Dexter-Mazza, and this is the DBT STEPS-A class for student skills for surviving and thriving during COVID-19 and beyond. We started this class about now 16 weeks ago, or not 16 weeks ago. Is that right? 12 weeks ago? End of March. Teaching the social-emotional learning skills from the DBT STEPS-A curriculum to our kids here as part of our home from school curriculum, and then we decided if we're going to teach it to them, we wanted to share it all with you so you could learn your DBT STEPS-A skills as well. Use this in your classrooms, in your home, wherever you find it useful for you. So we are so glad you were here with us. Today is our last class. As we are finishing up the school year. Our kids finish school tomorrow, so they didn't want to keep going through the summer. I don't know why, but we are glad you are all here with us.
I never said that.
I'm kidding. Let me make a couple of announcements really fast. So for those of you who are here with us, just want to let you know that myself and Jim, my partner, and their dad will be doing a live Q&A next Tuesday, June 16th from 10 to 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And you can register for that Q&A on dbtinschools.com, and that is sponsored by Forefront and Suicide Prevention and the Northwest Mental Health Technology Transfer Center. So we hope you'll join us there. You can also join Jim and I every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday morning at 7 a.m. Seattle time for our Parenting Through COVID-19 and Beyond, where we talk about how we use the skills ourselves every day to manage this time of COVID and how we do all the parenting. And now we're talking about how do we get ready for summer when we have even less structure than we've been having already. So we hope you'll join us both there. And you can find all that information on our website for dbtinschools.com. All right, so one of the things we do for all of our classes is we always start with a mindfulness exercise.
Time out. Maybe we can introduce the class, just in case?
Just about to get there.
Okay.
And as we do that and get ready for it, I'm going to introduce the rest of our classroom to all of you, and we'll get started. So, can you start over here, sir? Introduce yourself.
My name's Ashton. I'm in 6th grade, and I'm 12. My name's Grace. I'm 8, and I'm in 2nd grade.
My name is Jackson. I am 13, and I'm in 7th grade.
Excellent. And yourself?
I am Jim Mazza. I am one of the co-developers of the DBT in School STEPS-A curriculum that will be, that we're kind of just going to be summarizing from at least today. All right?
Yes.
And he's our daddy.
And I am the dad.
Wait, what grade are you in?
And we have figured out how to turn our living room into a recording
classroom.
studio for you all twice a week. And we've been building mastery on that. So this has been a fun project. All right, so today for our mindfulness exercise, we do all these different mindfulness exercises every class so that we can practice the mindfulness skills to help us live mindfully from day to day. And so today we're going to do the same one we started off with, and we've done a couple times. It's one of our family favorites, and it's one of the mindfulness practices that pulls many of the skills in together. So guys,
Sound ball!
we are going to play sound ball. It's also known as throwing sound. So hopefully you guys are excited to do that at home as well. So let's make sure if you can get yourself into a mindfulness mindset and get ready with the people who you're home with and try to practice this as well. Who wants to tell them the instructions?
Me.
Be loud in your...
You want to tell them, Jackson?
Me.
No, I thought you were saying. Okay, go Ashton.
So you play
Look at the
sound.
camera.
Yeah. So you play sound ball. So everyone stands in like a circle, like semicircle, or like the best you can do. And someone starts by making a sound and doing like a little action, so I can go like ooga booga booga booga, and then I'd go like ooga booga, and then like next the person
Ooga booga.
like the person who I went like that to, they'd catch the sound by saying it again, and then they make up their own sound and throw it to someone else, and then it goes around and around and around.
Okay, and Gracie, what mindfulness skills are we going to be practicing while we do that? Jackson,
one
be
in the
prepared.
moment.
Doing one thing in the moment. Jackson, what else?
One mindfully.
One mindfully, that's, yep, one thing. What else are we going to practice? Which other mindfulness? Hold on, Grace.
Non-judgmental.
Non-judgmental?
Not looking at in the future what you're going to
That's
say.
one mindfully. Yeah, I love that you guys are
Being
thinking about this.
non-judgmental.
Being non-judgmental. And it's what type of
gosh.
exercise? We are going to fully
Participate!
Okay, you guys are on. We're going to fully
Let's
throw
go.
ourselves into this, not thinking about what
gosh.
sound we're going to be throwing next or what sound we just threw. We're going to just stay in the moment, not thinking about what we're going to do in our turn, because if we're thinking about what's going to happen in the future, and when it comes to our turn, we're missing this moment. And that's about participating and being here right now. And we're going to be non-judgmental of our own sounds or of other people's sounds and let that go. All right? And while we're doing that, we're all going to be in wise mind, right? We're going to kind of notice how we can be present and effective, right, as well, without getting to emotion mind, not getting so excited that it causes problematic behavior for us, right?
Like a dog.
Right. Oh, we're all about the dog here.
It's official.
Okay.
We are
So
getting
that
a
is
dog.
what we are going to practice. We're going to put our, how do we do it? I'm going to just turn my microphone on mute so we don't blow out your speakers, or you might just want to decrease the volume on your speakers in case it gets really loud. But we really want you all who are with us to practice at home as well. Even if it's just throwing in, if you're by yourself watching, just throw in moments when anytime you want to catch one of our sounds and throw that out there. Practice jumping in. Rather than just watching and observing, I want you to participate at home too. All right, so everybody up.
No, Dad's in.
Oh gosh.
Can I go first?
You want to start it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
you can
I'm
start
Black
it.
and Jackson, no?
I'm in the middle.
So
All right,
let's
so
come
come right
here.
over here. There we go.
So Jackson, okay.
You're good.
Do we have everybody?
Can't
Let's
see Grace.
Can't see Grace.
You come
Right there, right there, right there, right there.
Okay. Ready, Grace? You're going to start?
Go ahead, Grace. You get to start.
Shazam!
Oh, I knew it. Shazam!
Bomb.
Bum! Boing!
Boing. Did we mute our
How?
How? La la la!
Oof! Oof! Pterodactyl!
pterodactyl?
Forza Whatsa.
Forza Whatsa! Ruff!
Ruff. Yeah.
Quack, 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 quack. Kitty cat. Kitty cat.
Am.
Hand.
Whoosh! Kazing!
Kazing! What's a hooza?
What's a hooza? And let's stop. And I'm going to turn my microphone back on now. All right, guys. What's my next question that I always ask after we do a microphone?
What did you notice?
All right, and why do I ask that?
Because it's relevant to our life.
Because that's one of the skills word for watching called observations.
Right, to make observations, to make
Isn't that
to
wordless?
observe.
No.
Wordless is observations, and describing is when we put words on it. So to observe and describe. So Jackson, what did you notice? What can you describe during that exercise?
That a lot of people were just doing actions as well as doing the sound.
Okay, so you observed that we were added actions into our
You went
sounds.
like-
And you guys at home, put in the chat bar any observations you had as well.
Already asked him that.
There are great.
You went
All
more.
right, Grace, what did you observe?
After Shazam, I had no clue what to say.
Right, so you were staying in the moment.
I had no clue.
And you
Were you getting worried? Were you having some worry thoughts? Oh, so notice that you were getting maybe not one mindful and moving into the future a little. Hey, Grace, do you hear me?
Yeah.
Were you not being one mindful and getting into the future?
No, I was there. I didn't know what to say.
Okay, and was there a judgment about that? A little? Worried?
I don't know.
A little anxious about what became to you? Right? And so that's one of the reasons we practice this, is so that we can practice being one mindfully, because worry is about what's going to happen in the future and bringing it back to being right here, right now. Okay, Ashton, what did you observe?
that we were very, very loud.
Mm-hmm.
That every single sound we made, the microphone bar turned bright red because we were like super loud and above max.
Oh, did you get distracted on occasion by going and looking at the microphone volume?
I started to try to anticipate who was gonna throw to who next. Like if it went like Gracie to Dad Dad to Mom, Mom to
Okay.
Jackson.
So what
Jackson
would
come
that
to
be?
me.
What were you doing in that moment then?
I was thinking in the future.
He was thinking in the future. Okay, so then what did you all observe at home?
We have not received
Okay.
anything in the chat
All
bar
right,
yet.
throw that in. So here's my next question. Grace, tell me, what's the next question going to be?
How is this relevant to our lives?
How is playing a game like Soundball relevant to our lives?
So we're not missing the moment.
So we don't miss the moment.
Non-judgmental, like just doing what you want.
Practice being non-judgmental of yourself or of others so that you kind of jump in and do what you want. Okay, Jackson, how is it relevant to you doing practice like this?
Being in the moment.
Okay, so also getting you to practice being in the moment, kind of getting out of your head and kind of being participatory with everybody.
I like being in my head.
I know, so that's exactly one of the reasons why we practice this for everybody, right? So we're going to practice being in the moment. Sometimes we have to get out of our heads and participate in our environment around us. So that's why we do this. All right, guys, this has been so fun doing all these classes with you. I know it's been extra work for all of us to kind of set up the living room studio as we have it here and doing all these mindfulness exercises. Dad and I are going to switch roles now.
Daddy has a question.
Oh, Dad's got a question.
From home, from
Yes.
our audience, the exercises bring them joy. So that's something that they've noticed.
Okay,
right?
notice that
That's
joy
a
increases.
judgment.
No, it's not. They're noticing the emotion of joy in there, and they prefer that. Okay, great. Are you ready to make the switch?
Let's go.
All right, and I will jump in and out as we kind of go
All
through
right,
this.
sounds good. All right, we guys ready?
Hey, Daddy.
Good. I'm going to take your pillow because I know that distracts you, so I'm going to do that in advance. Can you put that behind you now?
Your mic's falling.
Oh, thank you. All right.
Can I put it like this?
You can hold on to it, but that's going to get in the way of you helping me out a little bit later. I think you should put it behind you. That's my suggestion to you. All right. So we're a little bit sad that this is the end. We're going to bring everything all together, right? And so with our emotion of possible sadness, would it fit the facts?
No.
Really?
Yes.
You don't think I think a little bit, right? We've been preparing every Tuesday and Thursday to have class with our group. I think it does kind of fit the facts. So if it fits the facts,
for
we would
me.
say some of that sadness is it.
Opposite
Is it
that?
well, only if our thermometer is above 65. So you can see I'm starting to weave in all sorts of things that we're going to
Pros
start
and
talking
cons?
about. Okay. And so pros and cons if it's up at Christ survival. So here's what we're going to do. Mom, if you can take me to the next slide, and I need your participation. You guys can look at the screen so you see the slides. What is this screen? What is this slide telling us about what we've been talking about?
Oh, it's like a teeter-totter.
It is the teeter-totter. Ashton, why is that important?
Because you need both of them.
Beautiful, Ashton. You need both of them. All of us
Dang it.
can work on our change, right? We know what we would like to see different about ourselves.
Wait.
Also, though,
Both of what?
both acceptance and change. Both sides of the teeter-totter
Teeter-totter.
are represent everyone, right? We need to also, though, really accept ourselves for who we are right now, and
Not judgmentally.
we can do better, right?
That's
and
what
be
accepting
non-judgmental. That's right.
yourself as you are.
That's right. And so notice, right, we're going to talk about that a little bit. And then what can we do better, right? So both things happen. The big trick in using the skills and with dialectical behavior therapy is figuring out which side of the teeter-totter are you on, right? And so that'll tell us. And so if we can go back to that slide, all right, there are times on the teeter-totter that we need to do the acceptance side, right? We need to validate ourselves or validate other people, right?
Say like,
Those-
this is hard.
So hold on a second.
Yeah.
Correct. And so there are two modules of skills that we've learned in our class on the acceptance side. Can you see them?
The acceptance side is...
Opposite action? No.
So that's not a module though. That's a skill within. So Jackson, why don't you look at the slide on the screen and you'll see.
The emotion.
Okay. What does it say?
Mindfulness skills.
I
And-
cannot read that.
The stress tolerance
Great.
skills.
So those are two sets of categories, right? We call them modules, but there's a group of skills that are mindfulness skills, and there are a group of skills that are distress tolerance skills. All right, Grace, you're on. Can you think of any mindfulness skills?
Well, I think all of them are mindfulness skills.
Use the names.
Tips.
TIP is a crisis survival skill.
Oh. 3 states of mind.
3 states of mind. And which is the big one that's in there?
Mindfulness. Wise mind.
There you go. Wise mind. All right. Can we think of any other skills in mindfulness that we learned?
Dialectics.
Dialectics.
What, how?
We learned that's what and how skills. Great. Ashton, what are the what skills?
What skills?
Yeah, what are the what skills?
I forget.
You forget? You comment on this all the time. You want a lifeline?
Doing homework?
You can ask for a lifeline. Who do you want to call on?
You.
No, I'm facilitating.
Buddy.
All right, Jackson. The what skills?
I think I only have 2 of them.
That's all right. Go ahead.
Observations, describe, and may participate.
It is all 3 of them. Beautiful.
Yay.
So when we observe, what do we call that, Ashton?
Wordless watching.
See, I knew you had that. Wordless watching.
I
Nice
know
job,
something.
Jackson. You're 3 for 3.
Yay.
When we describe, we put words to our observations, and then the sound ball today was participate, fully participating. Okay, that's the what
Can I do
skills.
the
How skills.
You want the how skills? Go ahead, Grace.
Non-judgmental.
Non-judgmentally, great.
What are the other ones?
You can ask Jackson. Go ahead, Jackson.
1 mindfully.
Beautiful. Jackson's on his A game today. 1 mindfully. We're missing 1.
In the moment.
That's 1 mindfully.
That's 1 mindfully. Close. What else are we
Be in
missing?
the
Effective.
Effective. Grace. Grace. Pulling it. All right. So being effective. Those are the mindfulness skills. Now, on that slide, though, I also
You
had
do
them
the house
triple asterisk, right? I had 3
Oh,
stars.
triple
Right?
A.
Why?
Triple
Why?
A.
Not that was for radical acceptance. So that's not the AAA model. So I love that you want to get that in there. Why is the mindfulness skills triple starred? Why are they so important?
Because they're the core thing to everything. They're
Beautiful.
the core.
Double. Come on, don't leave me
skills.
hanging, girl. All right. So double, right? So that's right. None of the other skills work without the mindfulness skills. So we highlight them with 3 asterisks in the model. All right. And then, Mom, can you? Let's do the other side. So before we go on to our next slide, so we've got on the validation side or the acceptance side, we had mindfulness and distress tolerance. There are 2 categories of distress tolerance. You remember what they are?
Motion regulation.
2
Crisis
categories.
survival skill.
Crisis survival.
And opposite action.
Opposite action. Everybody loves opposite action. Opposite action
Emotion
is
regulation.
an emotion regulation.
I
skill.
said
So we have
that.
crisis survival. There's another category though of distress tolerance.
Below
skills.
65.
So crisis survival is short term. What's our long term one?
Emotion
Opposite
regulation.
action.
What's our long term ones? And it's
Radical
It's not going to
acceptance.
be on there. Yes, it is. It is accepting reality skills, right? So that's okay. This is good. I like that you guys are agonizing over where all these go, right? And so I'm hoping to describe for you, audience, where these are going to fit. I'm going to show you a picture of how we can put all these things together.
So Dad, you're
right?
saying you are being amused with the torture?
I like that you're agonizing.
It's
That's-
not torture.
It's not torture. It's like
It's
you're
a
trying.
Guys, that's like what you mean
No,
with
agonizing
agonization.
means it's a mental exercise. You're trying to figure out where it all fits, right? And that's going to be important. Figure out where these all fit is going to take a lifetime. We're going to be using these skills for the rest of our lives. All right. So we've got the acceptance side. Two modules, right? 2 categories. Mindfulness and distress tolerance. Let's flip over to the other side of the teeter-totter, and now we have our change skills. What are the 2 categories there, the 2 modules?
Opposite action.
Now you can go.
Crisis survival?
Crisis survival is on the other side.
Emotion regulation.
Distress tolerance. Emotion regulation.
Dang it.
Distress tolerance.
Distress tolerance is on the acceptance side.
Well, there's also acceptance.
Wait, skill?
Wave skills and emotion regulation skills.
Oh.
So we're coming up with modules, right?
We're just naming
So
random
look
skills.
back at the screen. Look back at the screen.
Facts?
I can't
Look
read a
back at
single
the-
thing on the
computer
screen.
All right, and you can see
And
Emotion regulation.
emotion regulation
and
and
interpersonal effectiveness.
Right. All right, Grace, go on back. Thank you. Right. So those are the big categories. We learn skills within those categories. All right. So give me, why do we do interpersonal effectiveness skills? Ashton.
To make you feel better about yourself.
Could be, or
Well,
what
that's
else?
the fast skills.
It is fast, good grace, because that's for self-respect, right? So that's true. What about the 2 other interpersonal effectiveness
The
skills?
give skills,
Give skills, what's that for?
making you feel better.
Fast skills?
Like, the relationship.
Relationship, effectiveness, beautiful. And then what are we missing? There's a 3rd one that we're missing.
How?
And it's a huge skill for you guys.
Fast skill?
Mm-mm.
Sitting with your
Fast,
emotion.
fast, and give. We already got. We're
Tips.
missing one. We're missing one.
Tips.
Really important. We walk through it because of some little creature that you want.
Dear man!
It is the deer man. That's
We're
right.
getting a little doggy.
Okay, so let's hold on.
Little,
there. Okay.
little dog.
So when do we use our deer man skill?
To get a dog.
When you want to get closer to an objective and you need someone else's permission.
There you go. Beautiful. Or we want to say no to something, right?
Uh-huh.
So our deer man
And then there's
skills.
the 10 levels of intensity.
That's right. And that's another interpersonal effectiveness. Evaluate options and intensity. Great. All right. That's interpersonal effectiveness. Now let's go to the column of emotion regulation. So Jackson,
Yeah.
now name one of your favorite skills in emotion regulation.
Opposite action.
Opposite action. All right. So great. All right. Opposite action is one of the skills. What else did we learn in emotion regulation to help us?
Wave skills.
Wave skill. Great. And then what else?
Teflon mind.
The Teflon, let it come in and come out. Yes, that's a wave
That's
skill.
the wave
Great.
skill.
Yep. This one's a little bit harder, and I don't know if Mom or I taught much of it. We talked about accumulating positives and building mastery. Do you remember that in coping?
Oh,
with
yeah.
health? ABC, right? So that's about reducing our vulnerability, which also means that you don't want to be eating your fingers, so that you have them later on in your life.
1, 2,
Okay.
3.
So those are on the other side. So here's what I want you to do. Mom, can you please go to the next slide? And Ashton, that Teflon mind piece is actually the observe skill, right? Let it come in and let it go without saying anything, all right?
Oh, that makes sense.
The wave skill is let it come in. You can notice it, and the urge is going to go down, right? Anything with
you
that
go wet,
emotion
and then it goes
will,
wet.
because it's a wave, correct. All right. So, can we go to that next slide? There it is. We saw this slide on Tuesday, all right? Now, there's a lot that's there, right? If the emotion's above 65, we do distress tolerance skills. Emotions below 65, we're doing emotion regulation skills, right? And so we have a lot that's there. I want to simplify that for you. So if you grab your clipboards, and folks at home, you do not have this handout because it was not created for our book. I want Liz to pull it up. I'm going to show you what I think is a really neat way to remember the skills. Okay? And there it is. It's what's called our emotion response roadmap. And I'm going to walk you through this, okay? And so the first thing that has to happen is we use our mindfulness skills so that we can determine what our body's telling us, right? Is that right, Grace?
Yeah.
And so that's important for understanding where we are. The first thing we want to check is we want to do this real internal check on ourselves. Is our emotion above 65 or below 65? If it's above 65, Jackson, where are we going? What skills
Crisis survival.
Jackson, your voice got
There's
really high
two
all of a sudden.
Jacksons.
Nice job. It is. It's crisis survival, so that's great. Grace.
Wait.
So, crisis survival if the intensity is above 65. Okay?
I don't know if that's...
So Jackson, I'll fix that in just a second, okay?
Okay.
Great. So if it's above 65, and the kids are looking at the same emotional roadmap that you are, Mom, if you want to put that slide back up there again, you can see that if your emotion thermometer is greater than 65, which is exactly what that says, right? It says your emotions are greater than 65, it's crisis survival. Okay? Can you see that?
They're less than 6.
So that's on your sheet over here. Look, here's the emotion. Above 65 is here. You see it?
Below
Greater sign?
65
Yeah,
is
I get
emotion
confused on which one is
regulation.
greater and which one's
I
less
understand.
than.
That's why I was going to help you out.
Emotion
Okay.
intensity says less than.
Okay, so
Oh.
there's two spots though, right? On this slide, if we go to the emotion intensity, so that's great that Liz has it highlighted. It's greater than 65. We're going to use our what skills?
Crisis survival.
Right?
No,
Or distress
or
nope, distress tolerance skills, mainly crisis survival skills. Why? Our crisis survival
don't
skills.
want to make it worse.
Beautiful. That's exactly right.
Are you
The
kidding?
crisis survival skills. I'll give you one here. The crisis survival skills are to help not solve the problem. They're to make it not worse skills, right? And we use them to help us do something instead of giving into our emotional urge. Now, Grace, you talked about one of these as being a favorite skill of yours. In a crisis survival skill, what's one of your skills that you might use? And you can look at your sheet. Accepts, exactly. So we distract with accepts. That's on the chart. If you go down after the red stop sign that says crisis survival, which is one of our distress tolerance skills, is the accepts acronym.
I was gonna say
Right.
tip skills.
And we distract with our
Yeah.
what piece there?
I
Grace?
also really like tips.
We distract using our
What skill?
wise mind. We distract with wise mind, right?
Yeah.
We also have a skill, Jackson, that you tend to like.
Pros and cons.
Pros and cons. That's also a crisis survival skill
What
and
about tip
can be
skills?
used as a decision making and tip skills. That's right. So we
Tip
talk about
skills.
tip, right? So we've
What
got a
about the
bunch of them.
improved skills?
What's that?
The improved skills.
It's another acronym. We didn't cover that much in our class. We couldn't cover them all because we didn't have enough meetings, okay? So this is only our 21st meeting, and we've got like 26
Only?
skills. It is. So,
Only.
all right. So crisis survival, right? That's what happens if our temperature inside of us is above 65. What if it's below 65, though?
Emotion regulation.
Now, keep in mind, too, I'm going to come back to the audience, that
Let's see that.
65 is a guideline, okay?
It doesn't
And you
have to
can
be
stay in your wise mind, right? And be at a 70 or a 75. It depends on how strongly those urges are, and then if you can keep saying, I'm in wise mind, I'm in wise mind, all right? And so that becomes important. So you could do like a wave skill, which is over on the change side, so even at a 70 or 72, all right? So that 65 is your internal thermometer, where 100 is you are absolutely going to jump out of your skin. You are so emotionally high, and 0 is almost like you're comatose.
You're dead.
Okay? So,
It's comatose.
now, you're
The
I'm
death
so
sleep.
hard-
You're
hard-
so relaxed.
The
You're
death
basically
sleep.
sleeping.
The death sleep, basically.
No,
It's a
because
coma.
you're just
You're
sleeping.
blocked.
Basically, it's kind
So-
of reasonable mind because it has no emotion at
poor
all.
choice of words. Let's not get comas involved, okay? All right. So, it's like you're sleeping, okay?
You're
All right.
so relaxed.
You have
Yeah.
no emotion.
Just totally chilled, all right? So if it's below 65, now look on your chart. And Mom, let's go back to that. Now we actually have,
They don't fit the fact.
now the change skills that we're doing, right? And you can see on the chart that if the crisis survival skills work, you can see there's an arrow that says the emotions cool down to under 65. Now, if we don't like that emotion and we want to get rid of it, what skills can we use?
Emotion.
That's right, emotion regulation skills. And if we now know it's emotion regulation, the first
Use
thing that
accepts.
we do
Check the facts.
is check the facts. That's right. There's the fork in the road.
Then we
under
do the
emotion
opposite action.
Well, so if we
No,
check
and
the
then we
facts,
do
which is our
accept.
thoughts, and the thoughts do not
not
fit
fit
the facts, or there's other facts that could explain it, what do we do?
Pros and cons.
Problem solving?
No, we do opposite action, right? If the
Ah.
facts
Yeah.
don't fit,
Yeah.
we do the opposite of what our urge is to do, right? If the facts, so yeah, look at your chart. It's all there for you, right?
I just can't.
So, Mom, if we can put that chart back up there, you can see in the red that's there, if the emotion and intensity do not fit the facts, then we do opposite action. What if they do fit the facts?
Then we use problem solving.
Well, so now we say, okay, they fit the facts.
Wait, emotion.
Problem solving.
This is already an emotion regulation skill. It is. It's already one of those.
You do
Okay.
problem solving.
What if it's not solvable? What if it's like COVID-19?
You do
Um,
like
Wait.
a wave skill or radical acceptance.
So
Or
you,
you're willing.
Unicorn.
so you can see if the facts fit the situation. We actually come to another road again, another fork in the road. Is it solvable? Is it not? If it's solvable,
You do problem
you
solving.
do problem solving. Great. If it's not solvable, and often we find ourselves in a lot of those situations where it's not solvable, right? Grace is going to use her unicorn skill. That's right. Fly above it, Grace. We don't have that in our book yet, so maybe in the elementary one. So if it's unsolvable, we have multiple options. We have the wave skill, which we can sit and have this wave come over us,
Radical
right?
acceptance.
Radical acceptance means we can't change the reality.
But
so,
don't let
so
the
like
wave
the
knock
Black
you
Lives Matter and protesting, right? COVID-19, that's radical acceptance. The emotion from that, it could be wave skill. And there's one other one that I don't think that we spent much time on. Willingness, which means that we're turning the mind to willingness and not willfulness, like it shouldn't, couldn't have, wouldn't happen.
Shoulda,
So
coulda, woulda.
Grace was in that spot when she chipped her tooth.
No shit.
That's not fair. It
shouldn't
shouldn't have
happen.
happened. It shouldn't have happened, right?
Why-
And so willingness to say it did happen, accepting reality, radical acceptance, and then turning my mind, yes it happened, that's the willfulness piece. All right, so you can see at home that is a strategic roadmap all in one picture about what we want to do. And I want to make sure that we highlight, though, that there are two sets of skills, 2 modules that are not included in this emotion roadmap.
Dialectical behavior.
It's not a module. Your dialectical thinking, right? Black and white thinking, good. And what else? So, what else is not in there?
Is
2
that-
modules.
Mindfulness? No.
Core mindfulness,
Yeah,
great.
Yeah.
Mindfulness is not in there. And the interpersonal effectiveness skills are not in there, right? And so this gives you the roadmap when the emotions are happening, right?
This is the
So
emotion.
here's what I want to do, all right? So if you can give me the next slide, Mom, and this is for you at home. I want you to do this as well. I'm going to give you 30 seconds at home to write down and name your 3 favorite skills that you've seen us do in our class, all right? And you can see I've included a column in here, so we do need you to participate. We want you to participate. And we're going to take our 30 seconds, turn off our mics for those 30 seconds, and see what we come up with for our skills as well. Ready? Let's go ahead and turn them off. All right. So hopefully that will give you enough time to come up with 3 skills. So here's what we're going to do with the skills. First, I'm going to go around to our classroom here and ask them to name their 3 skills. Then I'm going to ask them to define or tell us what those 3 skills are. And then I'm going to ask them where do they go on our chart. Which module of skills do they go in, right? And so hopefully that'll help us kind of get some more familiarity with what we're doing. All right, Jackson, I'm going to start with you. So what 3 skills did you name?
Pros and cons.
Okay, let Mom catch up because she's going to write them in. Pros and cons.
Emotion regulation.
Emotion regulation is a module.
Oh.
That's not a skill.
Which one did I do again? Oh yeah, opposite action.
Okay, so you've named 2. So let's go back to, what was your first one?
Pros and cons.
Pros and cons. Where does it fit?
Take your crisis survival.
Take your pencil. Yeah. So put in crisis survival fits where? You're absolutely right. It's one of our what type of skill does it go to? Is it emotion regulation? Is it interpersonal effectiveness? Is it distress tolerance? Or is it mindfulness?
Distress tolerance?
It is distress tolerance. So put a DT by yours.
Oh.
Okay, that's fine. That's okay. Put a DT and then go to the next one. That's okay, Jackson. Just go ahead. Don't worry about it, Jackson. Go to the next one.
Okay, emotion, opposite action.
So where does opposite action fit?
Emotion regulation.
What is opposite action?
Doing something that I don't like.
Not doing something you don't like.
Acting on your urges.
That's right, Grace. It's not acting. It's doing the opposite of what your emotion urge wants you to do.
Yeah.
Right? So you don't want to do that, right?
Yeah.
So that's great. So where would that? So that's an emotion regulation. So that's emotion regulation skill. What's your last one?
Wave skill.
Wave skill. Great. So what's wave skill?
Check the facts.
Wave skill and check the facts are two different skills. So what place does it go? What category?
Problem solving.
Is another skill in emotion regulation. So Jackson, I'm right here. You're worried about the lead there. Okay, don't worry about that at this point. Okay, so where does the wave skill fit in no. Look at the bottom of your sheet there. Is it a interpersonal effectiveness skill? Is it an emotional regulation skill? Is it a just challenge skill, or is it a mindfulness skill?
Interpersonal effectiveness.
It is not. Okay? So it's an emotion regulation skill.
Oh, I thought it was in personal
No.
effectiveness.
No, because think about it. Now flip over your chart, and you can see from there, where's the wave skill? Where do you see it on the chart, on the map? It's under emotion regulation, and it's unsolvable, right? We did the wave skill.
Emotion intensity below 65 is emotion regulation.
That's right. Great. Okay, that's okay. This is why we're doing our review, right? Grace, what skills do you have?
Tip skills.
Tip skill. So what's tip skill though?
Getting rid of your emotion by distracting
By
yourself.
or
Or no, it's like hacking into your system.
that's right. Using your body to reduce its emotions.
Hacking
Great.
into your system.
So do you remember what the T, I, and P stand for?
I just know
You
one
can
of
help
the tip
Ashley.
skills is dunking your head in a bucket of water.
That's right. So that's the temperature. The I is for intense exercise,
Intensity.
and the P is for
Participate.
no. That's a what skill?
I don't know.
Pace
Pace breathing.
Okay. So great. So Grace, what category do the tip skills fall under? And you can use your chart.
But I wasn't able to.
You were.
Not my last one.
Wave skill. I told you to look it up.
Crisis survival.
It is crisis survival, and crisis survival is what kind of category?
You're
Is
above 65.
it? It's true. And so, is it a distress tolerance category?
You don't make it worse.
I understand. Is it just distress tolerance, emotion regulation, or interpersonal effectiveness?
Distress tolerance.
It is distress tolerance. Nice job. What's your second skill that you have?
Dear man.
Okay, dear man.
It is out up here. Wait, writing this out for you.
They have it as a legend on their sheet.
I know. I'm just helping everybody see what the 4 modules are.
Okay. All right. Good assistance. Thanks, Mom. All right. So, what do you have, dear man? What kind of skill is? Where does that one fit?
Interpersonal effectiveness.
It is interpersonal effectiveness. And why do we use dear man?
So there's a higher likelihood of you getting what you want.
That's right. Getting what you want. It's objective effectiveness.
Or saying no.
Or saying no. Great. What's your third skill?
Accepts.
Accepts. Where do we put accepts?
Crisis survival.
Crisis survival. Correct. It's a distract with wise mind accepts. Great, Grace. Fantastic. Ashton, over to you.
I also did accepts as my number
Okay.
one.
So where does that fit?
Crisis survival.
Crisis survival. Crisis survival is one type of
Interpersonal effectiveness.
no distress tolerance. Right?
Yeah, because you don't
Crisis
want to
survival
make
short
it worse.
term. Accepting reality skills are long term.
Yeah, because you
Okay?
don't want to make it worse.
And it's the only one that where we've got 2. And so I'm going to add to Mom's chart here, right? Distress tolerance, we've got crisis survival, and we've got accepting reality. Okay? Those are up here. This is the only one that has the 2 different ones. All right? So, what's your second one that you have?
Dialectic.
Dialectical thinking. So what is dialectical thinking?
Like, explain it?
Yep. Exactly. Explain it.
Like,
Look at
something could be good and bad at, like, the same time. Not like, oh, it's all bad because I didn't get above, like, a 95 on a test. It's like,
right?
you did really good still, and, like, you wish you'd done better. So it's like
Good
bad.
recovery. We don't use the but, right? Because it kind of erases. You use the and not good and bad because those are judgmental words, right?
Like, yeah.
So we're trying to get away from what you said before.
Did very well.
That right? All right or all wrong
All
type of
good,
thinking.
all bad.
Right. We get away from that, right? So
Yin,
that's
yang.
not the yin yang. We want to get to non-judgmental thinking. Great. What was your third one?
My third one was Dear Man.
Dear man. Would Grace kind of cover that? Anything to add to what Grace covered for Dear Man? Remind our audience where it goes.
It goes into help getting us a dog.
So does it guarantee that you're going to get a dog?
No,
Nope.
but it gets you closer to what you want.
So the idea behind the Dear Man, again, object effectiveness, getting what you want, saying no to the things that you don't want, provides us with an opportunity. What did our audience say?
Our audience said similar. Wave and opposite action, ABC and Dear Man and Wave.
All right, slow down. So we got A, B, and C. I like that, right? Mm-hmm. We didn't cover that as one of our 3. Where does A, B, and C fit? It's not on the chart.
Core mindfulness.
Not quite. It's not a mindfulness skill.
It's a distress tolerance skill.
No, it's not on the chart.
Interpersonal effectiveness skill.
It's not there.
You guys
Emotion
are
regulation
you're just throwing
skill.
out words.
Object effectiveness.
I have said objective effectiveness is
Emotion regulation.
the deer man. Objective effectiveness is where we had deer man,
No,
right? That's not
It's
where we are.
interpersonal effectiveness.
Let's go back to when remember we had the model of all the things and we talked about like going on a roller coaster or seeing a snake, right? And we talked about vulnerability factors. Sometimes when we feel sick, or we didn't get enough sleep, we didn't eat the right things. Does that sound familiar? Anybody?
Like honey.
We are more emotional, right? So the A, B,
survival.
and C, accumulating positives, building mastery, and coping ahead, help us be less vulnerable to our emotions.
And
So that's
being
important.
vulnerable to
So
your
I love
emotions.
that.
If
So
you get too vulnerable to your
Did
emotions,
we have
then you go above
anything?
60.
Did we have anything else that the audience provided with us there that
We
maybe
had-
we need to?
Nope, we got them all. Like so, everybody's favorites. It sounds like wave, deer man, opposite action, and then adding in the ABC skills, which I like. That brings in 3 more skills in one.
Yep, perfect,
Hey.
which is great, right?
All those
So,
people who said
emotion-
dear man want
So what we didn't cover, and that you guys talked about, problem solving, right? So problem solving is in our emotion regulation module. It is when the facts fit the situation. Can we solve that problem? So I think that's also helpful. What we didn't cover in here is the please skills, right? Please also helps
a
us,
thing.
right? So yeah, physical illness, limited screen time, right? Balanced eating,
Oh, yeah.
Oh
balance,
yeah, no drugs.
yeah, and avoiding mood-altering drugs, right? Balanced sleep, and then exercise, right? So that's also there. All right, so here's what I want to do at the end here. So I see deer man, deer man, deer man. Can we go back one more slide? Did everybody have deer man as one of their top 3? Please?
Everyone but Jackson.
All right, Jackson did not. That is fine.
He doesn't
So-
want a dog.
What?
In teaching our class, that's fine. Thanks. You can. In teaching our class, all right. One of the things that we try to do is show how these things stack together. All right. And so I'm going to go through kind of the review of what we covered today, and then we got one last surprise for you. All right. So can we get to the next slide here? All right. And if there are any questions, put them in the chat bars of what about the charts and the things that we've covered all throughout this entire several months that we've been doing this. So here's the big thing of putting it all together. What's the core piece that we always have to be aware of?
Mindfulness.
Mindfulness. And matter of fact, it's so important that we call it core, and Dr. Linehan called it core to be core mindfulness. None of the skills work without mindfulness. All right? And everybody can work on them. We can all improve our mindfulness skills. Dr. Marsha Linehan. She's the one that developed
She
DBT.
invented DBT.
Yep. All right. The second thing is that that all of us can work on ourselves using acceptance and change, right? We want to make sure that we can accept who we are. That means all of how we look, all of our behaviors, whether they're strengths or challenges, we have to accept us. And then we also want to work on how do we make that change, right? And so we call that a dialectic. Acceptance and change is the major dialectic of all the skills. And that was the teeter-totter, right? We call that a dialectic. Both can happen at the same time, all right? Good. And then, finally, in looking at our emotions that we have, hang in there, Grace, I know that that's bothering you a little bit, all right, is find out what side of the dialectic you're on. So how do we do that? How do we know if we're on the left side of the teeter-totter or the right side? Not quite.
Pros and cons?
Not quite again. Look at your roadmap.
I'm above
Where are
65.
we? Yeah, it's actually the mindfulness skill, figuring out where am I emotionally. That's one teeter-totter, right? All right, so now, Jackson, if we're on the emotion regulation side, we come to a fork in the road right away. What's that?
Wait, no, he said above 65.
Above 65 or below
Above,
65?
I said below, though.
No, he said above.
He said check whether you're above or below 65.
No, he said
Whoops, sorry.
So check the facts. That is the first question that we ask ourselves. So if we're below 65, we check the facts. If the facts fit, what do we do?
Wave skill.
We use wave skill, great Grace, or
We check if it's a
Problem
solvable
solved.
problem.
if it's solvable. If it's
Problem
solvable,
solving.
we problem solve. If it's not solvable,
we
wave
use
skill.
wave,
Reality
radical
acceptance.
Yep.
No, radical.
Unicorn.
Radical sorry.
Right, that's okay, right? Great. So, what if they don't fit the facts?
Use opposite action.
That's right, opposite action. And again, Ashton, tell me what that means. Opposite action. I'm asking Ashton.
Like you like you notice your emotion, and you just do opposite, like get up, like do something that will like just like get your mind off of it,
Right.
and come back when you're like either like below, like when you're more cooled down and ready.
All right.
Not acting
So,
on your emotion.
I'm going to give you, the audience, one example that we walked through in the Mazza household here of where we stack skills, all right?
Doggy.
So, going back to
Doggy.
possibly getting a dog,
We're
my
getting a doggy.
emotions were like, oh, no, we're not doing that, we're too busy. My thoughts were, no, that's not happening, right? So, my emotions aren't above 65, so that means I'm going to check the facts. Do the facts fit that I'm not traveling?
Yes.
Yes.
Do the facts fit that I like dogs?
Yes. You grew up
Do the
with dogs.
facts fit if we're ever going to have a puppy that this might be the time?
Yes.
So if the facts fit, I problem solve or I wave skill, right?
Yeah.
Problem solved.
We'll check
Right?
if it's solvable.
So what if I was thinking like, oh, we just can't do this, right? We just can't do this.
Too
That
much
was my
work.
thought. Would my thoughts, we just can't do this, fit the facts?
No,
No.
because school's out.
So if they didn't fit the facts because I'm anxious about that, and I used opposite action, the anxiety says move yourself away.
No.
Opposite action would say what?
Move yourself closer.
Approach. That means approach getting a dog.
A doggy.
All right. The facts do fit. So I get to either problem solve, right? That's the main one.
Yep.
Can we actually do this? Will this happen?
Yes.
Then, after the problem solving, I want someone to say to me why we should get it. What skill is that?
Dear man.
It is a dear man.
Dear
Because
man.
it's objective effectiveness that we're looking for, right? And so, getting what you want. Did you dear man me?
Yes.
Yes.
Can I call you to dear man me one more time?
Yes.
Let's
You're
go.
doing it.
I'm ready.
Grace is the
Go ahead.
master.
Go ahead.
Daddy,
Yep.
if we are going to get a dog,
Good.
it would be a
Describe, right? So that was good. If we're going to get a dog,
cockapoo or a
so
Bernie Doodle.
Australian
express
Bernie
first.
Doodle.
So what's your express?
Australian Bernie Doodle. I'd really like to get a dog, and so would the rest of the family. It would make us super happy if we did.
Okay. Where's your, give me your A, your ask.
So can we please get a dog? It would be very fun. And then we can, like, you can cuddle with it, watch movies
right.
with
We
it.
can also watch movies and
It could sleep in our bed.
Yeah. So in our
You
bed?
could run with it.
Okay, bed. I don't want sleeping in your bed. All right. So that's the R, right? And the
and
M-A-N-P.
keep us off screen time because we have to train
See,
it. out.
now you're getting it. All right, Grace, with that, I want you to go over to that box over there. in the corner.
Oh no, that's just scary.
Go ahead and you can
Careful.
bring it out to the couch and you can open it. Bring it out to the couch with Ashton.
I'm scared.
Bring it out to the couch.
Pick
Go
it
ahead,
up.
pick it up.
Pick
It's
it
not
up.
heavy. Careful,
I
careful.
think it's
Bring
empty.
it, bring it over to
It
Ashton.
better be empty.
Because Grace might drop it and be like, oh.
All right, Grace, can you open that for our, actually, Grace, put it right here. Open it for our audience. Right there. Yep, there you go.
Y'all can see.
Come on. What do you got?
A doggy!
Yes, we will, after our 21 sessions of DBT STEPS-A student skills and for
Let's
surviving
get in
time,
the doggy!
we, the Mazza clan, will be getting a puppy when we get our chance. So thank you for everyone.
We're getting the
one more-
doggy!
just- you can see that the kids behind me are announcing. So if you can hear me over them shouting,
Doggy!
remember that we are live next week, Tuesday, June 16th at 10 to 11 a.m.
We'll show you the dog
Pacific
we're
time.
getting.
And so please come and join us. You can register at DBT in schools. This is also being sponsored by Forefront Suicide Prevention and the Northwest Mental Health Technology Transfer Center. So please come and join us. And also, during the summertime, Liz and I are going to continue to do our parenting through COVID-19. We think this is a pretty tough time. We could also extend it. I mean, that was the title that we came up with back in March. We could also be parenting through this protesting or this systematic change that we need to be doing, right? So we certainly know that we've got some systemic change that needs to be done, right? We can accept some things for where they are, and we know things have to change as well. All right, with that, please go and have a great summer, and we will keep you posted. If we see you in the fall, we'll hopefully have our puppy at that point. All right, so
We're getting the
everybody- come
doggy!
here, Grace.
Bring it in here.
Grace.
Doggy!
And we just really want to say thank you all for joining us, just tuning in twice a week with us,
Appreciate it.
watching live, watching the recordings. We've just had so much fun doing school from home with you. Turn around. And we really hope you have a fun summer full of accumulating positives, building mastery, talking about skills, and being skillful as you go forward. So thank you to you three, all four of you, for doing
audience,
this.
for watching.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. And everybody, have a wonderful summer. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Doggy.